Hello, welcome to another Dylan Knows on a Monday. This is my second Monday in a row. Again, the weekend got away from me. Next weekend should be a different story. But Saturday, I was going to go up and get my daughter since my wife was going to take her back up to her camp today at 10 a.m. So I figured it'd only be fair that we trade off because it's a long hike back and forth. So I went to pick her up at 12 o'clock. Did not get home till 2 o'clock because she had meetings for an hour after I got there. So we had to wait. I had to wait and then came back home. And then we had to do some grocery shopping and some other stuff as well. And then we went to dinner, and then she wanted to watch the last two episodes of Fallout, which we did. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Then, so I couldn't get my stuff done on Saturday. And then Sunday, we were going to go down to my in-laws' house for a dinner with my wife's Aunt Jean, who has flown in from Colorado and is spending the week with her sister, my mother-in-law. And so I want to go visit her. It was a nice visit, but that took pretty much the whole rest of the day on Sunday. And then today is back to work. So I was able to get everything done and taken care of. Go ahead, buddy. Come on down. It's fine. Another surprising week in the trenches. Pepper's around here somewhere, so close the door behind you. Okay. Yeah, that reminds me. Yes, you may see the. Oh, there he is. No, there he is. There's the Pepper. There he is. That shadow right there is my kitty cat right there. So now that we have the basement open, you might be seeing a lot more Pepper on these shows. So hi, Pepper. Hey, Noah.
Yeah.
There's Pepper. He's up on the bed.
Oh. Sorry to interrupt here.
No, it's fine. He can be seen on the show too. All right, so, but a lot of stuff happened this week, particularly yesterday. President Biden decided that he was not going to seek re-election, which at the time I thought was the worst thing in the world. We were going to lose not because of Kamala, because I was going to vote for Kamala in 2028. But because all the racist white ass fuckers who wanted to vote for a white male instead of a black female were now not going to vote for a black female candidate. And those misogynistic a-holes who did not want a woman president, but were going to vote for Joe Biden, are not going to vote for her now either. And the Nikki Haley people who wanted a older white dude that wasn't named Trump, I thought they were going to split from her also, because Nikki Haley supporters are also racist shitbag fuckers also. But a strange thing happened. I was despondent, but then I said I couldn't be despondent because I didn't want to bring down my kids, because they hear what I'm saying and I'm depressed and talking about all this stuff and despondent. I don't want them to get despondent, because we can still. It would be harder for us to win at the time when I thought this. And then we got home from my in-laws, and I looked on Twitter because I hadn't had a chance to look at it, and looked at the political people that I follow, who I trust their political things. And I saw an amazing thing. I saw an amazing outpouring of support, excitement for Kamala Harris. And right now, I started thinking more and more about it. And I wrote a lengthy tweet about it, so I'm not going to cover that here. I started thinking more and more about it. I was like, actually, this is probably the best candidate probably right now to take on Trump. Biden would have probably won also, but it'd probably be a lot closer. I think Kamala Harris is absolutely going to blow him out of the water. So we'll see what happens. And now I'm just throwing my support now to Kamala Harris, and have been, and also showing support that with the hashtag Joe President Biden deserved better, which he did. And a lot of people agree with me on that. So last week, we also had the farce that was the Republican National Convention, an absolute shit show, if anything. We're not going to get into that. I'm not going to cover any more political stuff. I was thinking about doing another episode of interviews with myself and covering my political stuff. But I said, you know what? I'm not even going to deal with it. I'm going to stick with my Dylan Knows stuff. It's causing me, chest pains, back pains, headaches, all the stress that we were having. But yes, last night I was looking at just the outpouring of success, the historical amount of money from small donors that were given to Kamala Harris. She hit $81 million in 24 hours from small donors only, not any of the big billionaire boys who pushed out President Biden. And they gave her money also. So I think I saw something. She's in the last day, she's got like $235 million pledged to her. 47,000 Black women got on a Zoom call and started talking about how we're going to canvass the United States and support President Kamala Harris. Everybody, all the states are giving her the delegates that Joe Biden won in the primaries. They say they are absolutely yours. She is now only about, as at this point, about 30% away from getting enough delegates to get the nomination. And most people think that by Wednesday she will do that. So things are looking up about that, and just all the asshole faux Democrats, celebrity shitbags who were pushing Joe Biden out have all shown their support. And I called them on it. I said, you better be supporting Kamala Harris. And a white male, former Democrat who went independent, wanted to come back to become a Democrat so he could run against her because he thought white men were going to be the leaders of the country. And everybody said, fuck off, you're a piece of shit, Manchin. And he ran away like a little bitch. The convicted felon still believes he is in the race with Joe Biden because he is mentally unstable and should be removed. He is now the oldest candidate in presidential history, and the Republicans have been screaming that President Biden was too old and he should step away. And so now that he has, the convicted felon, who's only 3 years younger than him, is now the oldest in U.S. history. So he should be, these same calls should be called out to him that he should be removed. But because they're hypocrites and pieces of shit, ain't going to happen. But I feel much better than I did when I first heard the news yesterday afternoon. And I keep looking at the bright side. She's had a good couple of speeches so far. She's a prosecutor. He's a convicted felon. The only thing the GOP have on her is that she laughs too much. And she's a Black woman. And they started going after her sexuality. Those are the only things that they have on her. So I'm not going to cover anymore else. I'm done with my political stance. But I feel a whole lot better. And Kamala Harris 2024. Now we wait for her VP selection and then her nomination as the presidential candidate. And also remember, President Joe Biden is still president for not 1, not 2, not even 3 months, 6 more months. That's half a fucking year. We're just barely past a half a year right now. So that's a long fucking time that we're still going to keep Papa Joe around a little bit. And he does deserve better. And he is, one of the best presidents we've ever had. And I believe Kamala will be one of the best as well. So let's get to work, pull up our bootstraps, and let's kick the convicted felon to the curb and get rid of these MAGA shitbags. So that's it. Kamala Harris 2024. As I like patting myself on the back, but sometimes it seems self-serving, but I still like to do it. Last week, I've been talking about how the box office numbers this year has been down due to a lot of different things, just not a lot of good stuff out there. The strikes, companies moving things around, stuff like that to later dates, stuff like that. And then I've started saying, we've already gotten about halfway through the year with the box office and it's down, and then summer started off pretty poorly, and then Inside Out 2 comes in. Well, the Planet of the Apes movie did okay, but not as good. Inside Out 2 came in and blew everything away, and then ever since then, every week it's been something huge for everybody. So when people were predicting that Twisters, the sequel to Twister, which was due out last Friday, was on par to make $50 to $60 million opening weekend, I was like, it's going to make more than that, buddy. Just look at the numbers for sequels and stuff like that. It's going to make more than that. And holy shit, $80.5 million. Kamala Harris was able to get $81 million in one day. So someone wrote she won the box office this week, but $80.5 million is very impressive. And I called it, I said, it's going to be way over 50, 60 million. And then next week, actually this upcoming Friday, is, of course, the biggest movie of the summer. And probably, if you think about what else is coming out this year, will probably be the biggest movie of the year. And Deadpool and Wolverine, it's already tracking to be about, I think they had originally tracked about $200 million, and then they've been stepping back on that. It's like, no, stick with the $200 million. Would I be surprised if it hit $200 million? No, not at all. Would I be surprised if it hit $150 million? I'd be a little surprised, but not really. It's going to make more than $100 million this weekend. It's just the pre-tickets, the pre-sales alone are at least $100 to $125, $150 million. And that's just the pre-sales. People like me, I'm taking off Friday. We're going to go see it on Friday. I haven't bought my tickets yet. So you're going to have a bunch of people doing that. This theater I'm going to, AMC, has an IMAX showing at 9 a.m. and then a direct showing at 9:15, which is a little bit different. It's the regular movie theater, but it's got more sound effects and stuff like that, and rumble shares and stuff like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to aim for the IMAX at 9 a.m. Where are you, Pepper? Should I be worried? Probably not. So I am taking. Yes, I will be taking off Friday. It'll be a nice breather I could take. But speaking of Deadpool Wolverine, the last final trailer that they were going to show for it debuted this week, and they showed a lot more of Wolverine's story in this one. Even though it's a Deadpool Wolverine movie, it looks more like this is going to be a Wolverine sort of redemption sort of movie because of Wolverine from another multiverse, another dimension, who failed, whereas Logan didn't. And Deadpool's going to be in there doing his thing as well. But they did the final trailer for that, and they released another big important cameo. And everybody's screaming, is like, you're ruining the movie. You should have waited till, no, you shouldn't have shown it in the cinema. The movie's already going to make a 10 movie. There's no reason for you to show the trailer. But people were talking about it, and they want to give everybody a bone. But yes, X-23, the clone of Logan from Logan, is Daphne, I forget her last name. The actress who plays her is reprising her role in the movie, and they show her at the end of the trailer talking to this new Logan. So that should be really cool. So that debuted this week as well. Speaking of Deadpool, because it's Deadpool, Xbox decided they wanted to have a special edition Deadpool and Wolverine controllers. So you get two controllers, and the colors are, you have the Deadpool colors, red and black, and you have the Wolverine yellow and blue colors, but they're the regular controllers. So you got the joystick and all that stuff. But because it's Deadpool, you're holding the joystick, you're holding the controller like this. The back part of it, not the front where all the controls are, the back part of it is Wolverine's butt and Deadpool's butt. So it's rounded with a crack down the middle. So when you're holding the controller, you're holding the butt cheeks of Deadpool and Wolverine. It's freaking hilarious. And only for Xbox. So it's kind of funny as hell. So it's kind of funny. Also, speaking about comic book stuff, as I mentioned, I might have mentioned it if I didn't. The name of the episode is San Diego State of Mind. The San Diego Comic-Con opens up on Wednesday with preview night and runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This year is the first year in almost 5 or 6 years that Marvel is actually going to have an event at San Diego Comic-Con. So they think that they're going to reveal maybe some trailers for some stuff, some dates for upcoming movies. Like Kevin Feige already announced a Nova TV show, so maybe we'll get a date for that. The Wonder Man, maybe we'll get the first look at Wonder Man, the TV show about that. Maybe we'll get some updates on Fantastic Four. Maybe we'll get the first trailer of Thunderbolts. You don't know. It all depends, and also get information about what's coming. Other rumors is that the Russo brothers are coming back to direct Avengers 5. Whoa, are you all right? Are coming back to direct Avengers 5 and 6. You okay, Pep? Don't know how I feel about that entirely, but that's just some of the stuff. And then there's a whole section I think about Deadpool, Wolverine, whole event about them as well. So we'll see about how that goes. Maybe that they'll cover on Saturday after the movies come out, so everybody can start talking about all the cameos and how it's going to set up the MCU for the mutants and stuff like that. So we'll see. But yes, and there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out because it's a big place for people to release their a lot of their pop culture stuff and some comic book stuff as well. So San Diego is set to debut on Wednesday with preview night, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the actual event days. Friday, the Paris Summer Olympics begin. Honestly, I could give a rat's ass about the Olympics. I've never really been obsessed with the Olympics as a lot of people are. I find them actually kind of boring, to be honest. It's great to see such great athletes, and that's what they're living their whole life is leading up to. But to me, it's just boring, and that's a bad take if you want to, but that's just the way it is for me. So we got those two things coming up this week. Amazon is in weekly talks with Mike Flanagan about his Dark Tower series. Mike Flanagan announced like a year or so ago that he was going to be taking charge of the Dark Tower universe, the Stephen King, major side universe that everybody knows and loves, with the Black Tower and the Dark Tower and the evil guys and stuff like that, and the gunslinger and stuff like that. And people have tried to make versions of it, but they never could. So Mike Flanagan, who is probably the best Stephen King adapter, said he was going to try it. But that was before he signed on to do the Exorcist prequel thing. So he's still got to work on that. And he's still working on this Dark Tower thing. So the Exorcist thing is going to be coming out here soon. So he's going to start working on that probably first. So we'll see. But Amazon is keeping in contact with them. Fox or Universal or whoever is in control of the Jurassic World movie series. The current new one with Scarlett Johansson is currently filming right now. And the company, I guess, let's just say it's Universal, has bought the rights to Jurassic World Rebirth, so nobody else can use it. So everybody's believing that that's going to be the name of the new Jurassic World movie with Scarlett Johansson, currently filming right now. So Jurassic World Rebirth, possible name for that. Todd McFarlane dropped some news about his Spawn movie that he's directing. It is going to be called King Spawn, and Blumhouse is going to be the producers of it. And it is going to start moving right along now. The fact that they had the name and they have the writers' names on it means that things are moving along, progressing pretty good. So we'll probably see more info about that as time gets closer. As I said earlier in the show, my daughter came home and she wanted to see the last two episodes of Fallout. So we watched them and I enjoyed them immensely. My take on Fallout right now is the first three episodes I would give like a C, maybe C plus 2. And the back 5 are definitely A minuses. The back 5 are so much better than the front 3. And I'm really looking forward to the second season, which is, according to Amazon, is way, way ahead of schedule, filming and pre-production and stuff like that. So we might see Fallout Season 2 a whole hell of a lot sooner than we were expecting. So that's a good sign as well. All these stories I'm bringing up now that I mentioned before are scattered through the rest of the episode. So I'll see if I can find the news and check them off when I get there. Fruity Pebbles waffle cereal flavor. They do have Fruity Pebble waffles out for waffles, but now they have a Fruity Pebble waffle flavor for the cereal, is now out in stores right now. And a tourist faints after a Kingsguard horse bites her while posing for a picture with the horse. So, you don't want to piss off a Kingsguard horse. Last week, we had a ton of huge deaths. Add one more to the list as Bob Newhart passed away this week. For those who don't know, Bob Newhart was a stand-up comedian in the 1950s. His shtick was using the telephone and doing jokes over the telephone and stuff like that. In fact, one of my favorite movies of all time, Heart and Souls, there's a sequence where Kira Sedgwick's character is a waitress in a bar where Bob Newhart is doing his bit because he sounds like Bob Newhart, looks like Bob Newhart, and is doing the telephone bit and interacts with Kira Sedgwick's character. So it's kind of funny. He then went on to prominence as the Bob Newhart Show, which was one of the most popular shows of the 70s, maybe early 80s. I don't remember, with Suzanne Pleshette, where he played a psychiatrist, rather. And then that show went off the air. And a few years later, he came up with Newhart, which my dad, by the way, absolutely loves. So he watched every episode of that. And that one, Bob Newhart has is running a motel like up in Vermont or something like that. And the weird clientele and the people who work there. Daryl, this is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl, those are stuff like that. And a whole new younger wife and all this stuff. But what's key about that, and that was a popular show, not as popular as the Bob Newhart Show. And everybody said Bob Newhart had better chemistry with Suzanne Pleshette than whoever played his wife in Newhart. But because of that, Bob Newhart came up with one of the absolute best series finales ever for Newhart. And it has been imitated multiple times and is considered, when you're discussing the best series finales of all time, is always up in at least the top 5. So basically, I believe it ends with Bob Newhart's character and Newhart, who owns the Vermont hotel. Spoilers coming, so if you haven't seen it, I'm just giving you a warning right now. Having apparently what looks like to have a heart attack or something like that. So he collapses in the doorway of his hotel, and then it becomes sort of like a hazy dream thing. And then it fades in on a bedroom that looks very familiar, and the audience kind of knows what's going on, so they're kind of chuckling a little bit and clapping and stuff like that. And he wakes up and turns on the light, and he's in his old apartment from the Bob Newhart Show, and there's somebody sleeping next to him. So he starts trying to wake her up and says, "Wake up, I gotta tell you this weird dream I had." And Suzanne Pleshette, who had snuck into the set without the audience seeing her, pops up. And the whole thing was the TV show Newhart, where he ran the Vermont hotel, was a dream by the Bob Newhart character, psychiatrist from the Bob Newhart Show, still married to Suzanne Pleshette. And when he's describing his dream, you can just tell the chemistry between them, because he's talking about his hot wife and all these screen. And Suzanne Plechette's characters get more and more upset with him. It's really funny, and it is absolutely one of the best series finales of all time. And then after that, a few years later, into the 90s, back when comic books were getting to be huge with Image and stuff like that, I watched this one. He did a show called Bob, where he played a comic book artist from the 1960s who created one of the most iconic characters. And it has gone, sort of away after a while, because the 60s was a different time than it is now. So his character wouldn't be very viable in the season until a new creative team comes in and decides that they want to reboot his character for the 1990s badass superhero Image sort of characters. And they bring him in as a consultant. And it's the show is about the making of a comic book. And it's really, really cool. It didn't last as long as the others, didn't have a killer series finale, and was not as popular, but I watched it and I enjoyed it because it was comic book based and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then, of course, his guest appearances in The Big Bang Theory multiple times continued his streak of popularity. So Bob Newhart passed away this week. Everybody who watches this show or knows me knows that I absolutely detest summer. I hate humidity. I hate the heat. There's aspects of summer I like. My birthday, my son's birthday, potentially when we get free time going on vacations and stuff like that. It being light out later and warmer. If it's not too killer hot or humid, a nice summer night is always pretty cool. I did an episode a couple years ago called "When Summer Was Cool," where I reminisced about when I was growing up, how summer was so much cooler, both from when I was younger, going out and not having any worries in the world, sleeping in, riding my bike, playing wiffle ball, just walking around the neighborhood, just being outside and enjoying myself. And due to climate change, the temperature has gone up over the summers since the 1980s. We had our barn burners periodically, but the summers were always a little bit more controllable. And the fact that we didn't have air conditioning in our house, with the exception of a couple of wall units, I sort of just lived with it. So things got worse gradually as climate change like that. But everybody knows that autumn, fall is my favorite season of all time. It's September 22nd. So basically it's only 2 months away now. Hey, pup, which is great. I can't wait for it. Fall is my favorite season of all time. It always will be. And one of my favorite holidays is Halloween. And Halloween is now officially 100 days away. So we're not that far away. And we're also we're less than 50 days away from the beginning of the NFL season, which is another thing I like about the fall. So a lot of good stuff coming up here. So very, very good. Madeline Klein and Camila Mendes are in talks to star in the I Know What You Did Last Summer remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. I don't know them. They appear to be young actors, or rather actresses, for this era, much like how Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar were the young actresses from the previous one in 97. So we will see what happens. What are you getting into? That was the cat. Sharon Stone is set to play the bad guy in Bob Odenkirk's Nobody 2. Be good to see her playing a kick-ass bad guy again. It's great. After 9 years, Chick-fil-A has... for 9 years, Chick-fil-A was the number one... no, eating the pen. Was the number one fast food chain in America for 9 years straight. This year, it dropped to number 3. Number 2 is KFC, and number 1 is surprisingly Del Taco, and there's no Del Tacos in our area, so I don't know how it became the most popular fast food restaurant. We don't even have any here in Maryland, so go figure. I think they have it out in California or the Midwest, but got your tail. So we got that going on. The Oakland Athletics are still in trouble. They are moving to Las Vegas, and they have to play like 3 lame duck years away from Vegas as they build the stadium. So Oakland doesn't want them back because they got screwed in the deal. So Sacramento is going to house them for the next 3 years as the stadium in Vegas is going to get built. However, it was revealed this week that, better not fall over, that good God, Cat, what is wrong with you? That the A's have failed to get anyone to pay for their Vegas stadium. So they're now sort of stuck in this limbo. They don't have anybody who's willing to fork over money to pay for the stadium. So where are they going to play? Are they still going to move to Vegas? So that's all stuff that's going to have to come down here soon. But that was just revealed this week that they do not have anybody who is willing to pay for their stadium in Vegas. Kevin Feige, I think I talked about this earlier, confirmed that Nova will be a TV series. It's the Richard Rider version of Nova. I was surprised that they announced it before San Diego. I thought he would announce it there. but apparently he decided to announce it earlier. The Toxic Avenger remake with Peter Dinklage is now apparently deemed unreleasable. That has been the new buzzword for movie studios who want a tax break. Warner Brothers deemed Batgirl with Brendan Fraser and Michael Keaton unreleasable, and J.K. Simmons, which I think is the stupidest thing in the world, because they were almost done the movie, and those are all big-time actors. People like Michael Keaton's Batman, and people like Brendan Fraser. Cat, you are killing me. And then the Acme versus Coyote animated live-action hybrid with John Cena is also deemed unreleasable. And now we have this Toxic Avenger one. So don't know what's going to happen with it. So we'll see what happens. Johnson Space Center renames Building 12 after Dorothy Vaughan, who was a black female who helped man land on the moon in a time when black females were segregated against. They made a movie about it. I forget the name of it, with Kevin Costner in it, but I forget what it's called. And Viola Davis, I think, was in it also. That really brought it forward. You're going to jump on there. I'll move this so you don't break my phone. Are you going to jump there? Where's you going to jump? I'm sorry, I just have to watch my cat. He's going crazy. Oh, my God. You're killing me, cat. You're killing me. So that's really cool that they named Building 12 after her. So Hidden Figures, I think, is what it was called. So that was pretty cool. Cosmic Baseball is a new thing that's played at night, and there are black lights in the stadium lights. All the players wear the neon sort of stuff that really pops in the black light. The baseballs, the bats, bases, all that stuff, gloves, so on and so forth, are all this really neon sort of stuff so that they pop in the dark night and you just see these colors. So I don't know if I really want to see it since it's so dark, but kind of a cool idea. So football is coming, as I told you, and the most popular football player right now is Travis Kelce, for him dating Taylor Swift. And his brother Jason Kelce, the two of them have a podcast, which is one of the most popular in the nation right now. And they are all over the place, making TV appearances, doing all kinds of stuff. They are hugely popular now for various reasons. But General Mills, they talked about this on their podcast, and General Mills decided that they wanted to give it a whirl. So they are releasing the Kelce Mix cereal, which mixes Reese's Puffs, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Lucky Charms together into one box, which honestly sounds pretty goddamn good. Just seeing if she's playing with it. No. All right. So it sounds pretty goddamn good. So look for that probably this fall, probably. Season 2 of the Time Bandits series I talked about last week appears to already be written, so they're anticipating a second season upgrade. So we'll see if that actually happens. New Weird Al Yankovic video and song, first one in a really long time, called Pokemania, was released this week. June Lee is set to join the Spider-Man Noir series with Brendan Gleeson and Nicolas Cage. Sasha, Scarlett Johansson, and Greg Berlanti are set to produce the psychological thriller. No word yet if Scarlett will be starring in it as well or just producing it, but she will be doing that. So here we are. It is July 22nd, and we're only about 2 or 3 days away from Christmas in July. And so it's time to talk about a little bit of Christmas stuff. International Flavors, International Delights, or whatever that is called, is one of my favorite coffee creamer companies. They come up with all kinds of crazy coffee creamer flavors that some are good, some are shitty, but it's always good to have a variety that you can get and use from that. Around Christmas time, they've released 2 flavors. I forget what they are. There are 2 other Christmas flavors, like sugar cookie and like peppermint mocha flavors. And for the last few years, the Grinch, the cartoon version of it, has been the character that's been on the design of the bottles of the peppermint mocha and the sugar cookie, Christmas sugar cookie. Now, the Christmas sugar cookie tastes literally like nothing. When you add it to your coffee, it really doesn't taste like a damn thing. So I'm not a big fan of that one. And I just can't do peppermint chocolate due to Thanksgiving. At my grandmother's house when I was little, she used to have Andy's candies around the house. And one Thanksgiving, I ate a whole mess of them, then puked it all up. And I'm never going to eat them again because my sense memory of puking up peppermint chocolate is still strong. If I even try to eat a peppermint chocolate or even smell it, my vomit instinct pops up. So, but this year they've decided that the Grinch has run his course, and we're going to try a different Christmas icon. So Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone is now the new cartoon on the Christmas creamers. And to give them, not just, hey, we just rebranded these 2 that we already have, which they did. They rebranded them to Home Alone instead of the Grinch on them. So peppermint mocha and sugar cookie are still going to be coming out around Christmas time. They decided we're going to release a brand new one as well to introduce the whole Home Alone aspect. And God damn it, if it does not sound good, it's a hot chocolate marshmallow flavored coffee creamer. It's not out yet. As I said, probably will not be out probably till October. That's when they tend to bring the Christmas stuff out. As soon as that pops up, I am buying it like that, and I will let you know what it is like. So just be on the lookout for that. As I said, the NFL training camp started on Sunday, and the Ravens star quarterback Lamar Jackson is not there. He came early for rookie camp, and then before actual training camp started, he was sent home for an illness. He's been ill for the last 2 days. He should be back tomorrow to get back into the swing of things. But meanwhile, while that's all going on, Troy Aikman, former Dallas Cowboys quarterback, now retired Hall of Famer, he is trying for some reason to trademark the number 8 because that was his number as a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Lamar Jackson is a number 8, and he's not taken too kindly to that. So he is countering him and challenging the trademark. God damn it, cat. Challenging the trademark of Troy Aikman. So that story is to be continued. Other deaths this week. Sheila Jackson Lee, a Democratic representative from Texas, age 74, one of the best Democratic representatives out there, unfortunately passed away this week. And where is it? There it is. And Whitney Ridebeck, Friday the 13th actor and the crash test dummy in the seatbelt ads, dead at the age of 79. Anniversaries, one of my favorite horror comedy movies of all time. Arachnophobia is 34 years old this week. I have to rewatch it. It's been a while, but it used to be that and Dave came out around the same time. It was one of my favorite twofers I wanted to watch all the time. Captain America: The First Avenger debuted 13 years ago this week. Nope debuted 2 years ago this week. Arthur, another great movie that not a lot of people see, debuted 43 years ago this week. The original one, not the crappy remake. Clerks 3 debuted 18 years ago this week. Barbenheimer, yes, everyone was talking about it last year. Barbie and Oppenheimer was released 1 year ago. Saturday, I think it was. or Sunday. It was one of those two. But Barbenheimer, I did the whole Barbenheimer thing. I went to see Oppenheimer first in IMAX, and then went to see Barbie in a smaller theater. So I saw them both in one day. Loved them both. And that was the talk 1 year ago this week. Capricorn 1 debuted 46 years ago this week about a fake Mars landing. Trading Places debuted 41 years ago this week. No. Something happened 55 years ago this week. I can't tell you. 55 years ago. Oh, Man Land on the Moon. That's what it is. He walks on the moon. That's what it is. Yeah, 55 years ago this week. So July 20th, 1969, Man Landed on the Moon. That was 55 years ago this past Saturday. The Neverending Story, 40 years old this week. Die Hard, 36 years old this week. The Dark Knight, the one with Heath Ledger as the Joker, debuted 16 years ago this week. The Frighteners, Michael J. Fox's, is awesome. Horror comedy, and Peter Jackson's last film, I think, before he started working on Lord of the Rings, debuted 28 years ago. No, I think he did another one before that. 28 years ago this week. I think King Kong was in there. No, he did that after Lord of the Rings, so I don't know. But here's something sad. So I already talked about the Heath Ledger Dark Knight. The final part of the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, Dark Knight Rises, with the luscious Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt in there as well, debuted 12 years ago this week. However, you cannot talk about Dark Knight Rises without talking about what happened the midnight show. It came out in Aurora, Colorado. The midnight show of Dark Knight Rises that opened. It was the first show that they have ever of the movie released. The midnight show on that Friday it was going to open. A gunman was able to. He bought a ticket. Normal guy bought a ticket, and while the trailers and stuff were running, he was able to sneak out of the exit and was able to tape the lock closed so he could get back in. And he had parked his car right near there. So he opened up his car and he pulled out tons of guns and grenades and rocket launchers and gas things and suited up, and then went in through the unlocked door. And the movie started playing, and at a certain point, he just started unloading gunfire, smoke grenades, stuff like that. I think 18 people were killed in all total. Let me see how many actually passed away. You cannot think of Dark Knight Rises without that because they are at the same time. Okay. "12 people were killed, 70 others were injured, 58 of them from gunfire. It was the deadliest shooting by a lone perpetrator in the history of Colorado and the state's second deadliest mass shooting, just after the 1999 Columbine High School massacre. At the time, the event had the largest number of victims, 82 in one shooting in modern U.S. history. That number was later surpassed in 2016 and 2017. But yeah, so that's exactly what happened. So you cannot celebrate the anniversary of Dark Knight Rises without remembering the people we lost to the Aurora shooter. And Hans Zimmer, being the goat he is, the guy who wrote the score for Dark Knight Rises, he wrote a song called Aurora, which is an absolutely gorgeous song. And all the proceeds from it would go to the families of those who were killed or injured by the shooter. New teaser trailer for Superman and Lois final season on the CW debuted this week. The Dr. Jekyll trailer with Eddie Izzard from Hammer Films, their first new film in forever, debuted this week as well. Gail Simone released the cover picture of her Red Sonja novel. Fallout Season 2, as I said, is progressing much faster than expected and got 16 Emmy Award nominations. I'll talk about the Emmys in a little bit. Doritos coffee is a real item, but you can only get it in Australia. Excuse me. Glenn Powell is set to helm a remake of the 1991 firefighter film Backdraft. Huge Microsoft outage due to CrowdShare caused millions of computers to lose their internet and stuff like that, and that included they had to ground many airplane flights. Ralph Fiennes and Juliette Binoche are set to star in a movie called The Return, which looks to me like a new look at The Odyssey by Homer, because Ralph Fiennes is playing Ulysses and Juliette Binoche is playing Penelope or whatever his wife was named. Set to debut on December 6th, so it actually will be out this winter. So you'll be able to see that. So we'll talk about it a little later too. Karam Diane and Zoe Steiner join Holly Hunter, Paul Giamatti, Bella Shepherd, Kamar Brooks, Diego Jones, and George Hawkins in the new Starfleet Academy series. Halo on Paramount Plus has been canceled after 2 seasons. Star Wars Ewoks miniseries comic is set to debut in October, which is going to detail what happened after Return of the Jedi. Rare daylight meteor was spotted in New York City this week. A 24 movie is in development, but Kiefer Sutherland may not star in it. So what's the point of doing it anyway? And what's the point of making it into a movie when you've done plenty of 24 stuff and you really don't need to bring it back again, please? Mega Lucario raids are coming this Saturday as part of the Pokemon Go Fest from a couple weeks ago. Some of the challenges we did got us to unlock that. So that's pretty cool. The Orioles 2025 schedule was released this week while they were on the All-Star break. And as usual, as I always do, I check to see if they play at home on my birthday. And it is almost funny how they never play on my birthday. It's either they're having an away game like they have this year. They have an away game in New York. Last year, or next year, they'll have an away game in New York. This year, they had an away game in New York. Last year, it was a off day between 2 home series. The year before that was an away someplace. Another year after that was like an off day. And then like 2018, something like that, was when they last played at home on my birthday. And my wife and kids and I went to the game. And my wife got my name up on the board for celebrating people's birthdays. And then after that, I could not even tell you the last time that the Orioles played on my birthday in the year 2000, or the century of 2000 so far. I think it's been all total from 2000 to 2024, maybe 3 times, if that they played on my birthday. And I've only gone to one of those so far. So for whatever reason, the way the schedule works out, they're either an off day between 2 series or they're away. So whatever. I guess I kind of knew this, but Chad Michael Murray was in the original Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. He is making a return in the sequel. Kind of makes sense, I guess, since he was one of the main characters. Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 1 debuted earlier this week, and Season 6, Part 2 was set to be released November 28th, which would have been Black Friday. Instead, Amazon or rather Netflix decided we're going to push it up a couple weeks to November 15th because they're excited about it and they want it to be seen. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson's fight has been rescheduled also for the 15th of November, also on Netflix. New Beetlejuice trailer came out. It is a lot more dark than I thought it would be. And you get a lot more of the storyline, so that's pretty cool. The trailer for Dune Prophecy, the show on Max, debuted this week as well. The trailer for Conclave, that's what it was. For Conclave debuted, has a great stellar cast of Stanley Tucci, Ray Fiennes, John Lithgow, and Isabella Rossellini. And it's basically a religious thriller set after Pope mysteriously dies, and the new conclave has to pick who the new Pope is, and a young Pope played by Ray Fiennes is caught in the middle between different factions. So it looks kind of interesting. So we'll see how that goes. DC All In, which is their new ultimate. It's called DC Absolute, but DC All In. In October, they're basically trying to get new readers to come in and read their comics by starting new storylines and bringing in new characters and having new creative teams and stuff like that. So you can just buy a copy of the issue and you won't be lost. They'll explain everything, blah, blah, blah. It's also to set up the Absolute DC, which is their version of the Ultimate, with the release of the Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman Absolutes by some pretty stellar creative teams. Those are all set to debut in October. So that's all that's going to be going on for DC in October. Also is a new DC Marvel crossover in the works because just a random piece of dialogue in a recent DC comic got people thinking that this could absolutely be one of the biggest crossovers of all time when somebody mentioned the Crisis Gauntlet. You know, DC's big thing is the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and every one of their big game-changing storylines has Crisis in the title somehow. And the Infinity Gauntlet is like the thing that Marvel's now most famous for due to the MCU and stuff like that. So you put them both together, and you have the Crisis Gauntlet. That's actually a fairly intriguing idea. So we'll see if that is actually something which is a throwaway line. We'll see what happens. A Woman Helps. I'll say that later. Dan Stevens is set to star in The Terror, Devil in Silver. I guess he started off in that series of movies, and now he's coming back to it, even though he's starting to become a huge star again. The Emmy nominations, I don't have time to go through all of them, but Fallout had 16 nominations. Loki had like 2. Echo had like 1, I think, 1 or 2. The Bear set a record for, I think they had 32 nominations. And there's another show that did really well also that I can't think of right now. It was a mini series. Oh, Shogun did really well also with like 32 as well, something like that. So the Emmy Awards came out. I don't really have time to cover that because I still got a page and a half to go, and my body's screwing me up now here. This would be a last story, but we still have a page and a half to go. But a woman helps aliens after his brother is held for ransom in space. It's one of those weird websites where they talk about these weird, bizarre UFO stuff, so you can't tell what's real and what isn't, but that was just a funny headline. I wanted to read it. Deaths, we have Lou Dobbs, the conservative MAGA asshole who had a show on CNN. He passed away this week. And Pat Williams, co-founder and executive for the Orlando Magic, died at the age of 84. A Fandango founder, J. Michael Klein, died in apparent suicide this week. Abner Haynes, a Kansas City Chiefs running back from a long, long time ago, died at the age of 86, back when they were still in the AFL. Anniversaries, Clueless is 29 years ago this week. Aliens, the James Cameron sequel to the original Alien, debuted 38 years ago this week. So I got a page and a half left, and I have to take a major poop right now, and it's hurting me, so I'll try to get a join. Giancarlo Esposito, Katie Holmes, and Kumail Nanjiani have set to join the cast of Poker Face, the Ryan Johnson, I forget the actress's name, series that are all one-off, so they'll be playing various characters in different things. They're not recurring characters, they're one-and-done character. Noah Hawley's Alien TV series has finished filming, so we should be seeing that sooner than later. Frasier Season 2 is set to debut on September 19th on Peacock. As I said before, the Russo brothers are now the front runners to direct Avengers 5 and 6, so we'll see if that keeps up. Kind of on that. I don't know if really need them to come back. I would like to see what somebody else could have done, like the director of Shang-Chi and stuff like that. Kind of like see what they could have done with it, or maybe even Sam Raimi would have been nice to see. But whatever, we'll move on. Monster Summer trailer actually surprised me. It did not seem like it was going to be great because it has the awful, terrible Mel Gibson, who's a piece of shit, starring in it. But it appears to be more of a supporting role, and the movie is set around a bunch of young kids who are returning from college and stuff like that and reuniting after being away so long in Nantucket. And mysterious things start to happen to their friends, so they try to investigate it. The trailer gave me a very Stranger Things, Monster Squad, It vibe a little bit, even a little bit of The Sandlot, because we had the dude, You're Killing Me Smalls, was an umpire at a baseball game, and The Sandlot had a mysterious guy that they, who hid in his house that they made stories about. That's Mel Gibson's character, who ends up helping them out. But it was actually more surprising a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's set to debut on my anniversary, October 4th. Speaking of Stranger Things candles are now available at Bath and Body Works, Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is set to start filming in November, which they say is going to be right around the time of Spider-Man 4, but I'm not sure. I believe all that entirely. Horizon Part 1 is now available on video on demand, so you can actually watch it now from your home. And we'll see what happens and see if see if we can get Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4 out here. Colin Firth has joined the cast of Guy Ritchie's Young Sherlock Holmes series. John Woo's remake of a John Woo movie, The Killer, debuted its first trailer this week. A Different Man trailer, an A24 movie with Sebastian Stan, debuted its trailer this week. Didn't watch it, didn't care much for it. Timothy Chalamet is set to play ping pong legend Marty Desmond in Josh Safdie's Marty Supreme movie for A24. The Catnado trailer came out, and it is just as bad as you think it was. I can't believe I watched it. It was awful. Reginald the Vampire is set to be canceled after 2 seasons. 9 Inch Nails is created their own version of the Doc Marten shoe that they're selling now. The Miami Dolphins report significant damage to their stadium after the Argentina-Colombia soccer game turned into a huge melee as lots of people who did not have tickets tried to break in to see the soccer game and caused major issues and all kinds of craziness. Milli Vanilli biopic is in the works right now. Is actually filming right now. Did not know that was coming out, but here we are. The Deliverance trailer, a August 30th horror film for Netflix, debuted its trailer this week as well. Radar data from a NASA orbiter of the moon discovered a cave on the surface of the moon that could be used to house astronauts on the moon. Man, my stomach is killing me right now. Deaths: Jerry Williams, Jerry Walker, something like that. Former Baltimore Orioles pitcher who I don't remember at all, died at the age of 85. And Joe Bryant, Kobe Bryant's father, died this week as well. Anniversaries: Bad Boys 2 debuted 21 years ago this week. 500 Days of Summer debuted 15 years ago this week. The Mask of Zorro debuted 26 years ago this week. Stranger Things Season 1 debuted 8 years ago this week. Disneyland opened 69 years ago this week. Eight-Legged Freaks debuted 22 years ago this week. Eyes Wide Shut debuted 25 years ago this week. True Lies debuted 30 years ago this week. A Cinderella Story debuted 20 years ago this week. Lake Placid debuted 25 years ago this week. Hocus Pocus debuted 31 years ago this week. And a little bit of symmetry. July 16th, 1945, the first atom bomb test happened. It was a story point in the Twin Peaks: The Return, and also a story point in Oppenheimer. So that happened. But it's also kind of because eventually the atom bombs were used on Tokyo or on Japan. The anime Akira, on July 16th, 1988, Akira destroyed Tokyo. So kind of a symmetry thing going on there, I think. What did you do, Pep? If you want to know. So we'll do the last half here, and then we're going to head out so I can relieve myself. The lead trailer with Kate Winslet, World War II drama, and Andy Samberg's in it. The newest trailer came out this week. The first look at Stranger Things Season 5 came out this week. They just showed a lot of, sets and stuff like that, some of the actors, but nothing other than that. Maybe San Diego Comic-Con, we might get our first look at some stuff from Stranger Things. Robert Pattinson is in talks to star with Jennifer Lawrence in Die, My Love, a new film coming up soon. First trailer for Emily in Paris Season 4 Part 1 debuted this week as well. Actually debuted earlier today. In real life, Lego Fortnite sets are soon going to be coming, probably in time for Christmas. That's pretty cool. An Irish gymnast is trying out the anti-sex beds at the Olympic Village. Apparently, Paris does not want sex to be going on at the Olympic Village. And maybe even the Olympics committees don't want sex to be occurring in Paris during the Olympics, because the Olympic Village is when you get 18 to 20-year-old kids together and they're hopped up on adrenaline and alcohol and they're in Paris and they're doing stuff, things are going to lead to one thing or another, and all kinds of sexual activities going to occur. So they tried to create anti-sex beds and put them in the Olympic Village. An Irish gymnast tried it out and said, we can have sex on this. It ain't going to cause any issues. So we'll see how that goes. I don't even know what you want. I don't even know what you're doing. All right, before we get to the last story of the week, that probably should have been the last story of the week. Some other stuff that came out this week. There's Something About Mary, came out 26 years ago this week. Cannonball Run debuted 43 years ago this week. Ghostbusters, the female version, debuted 8 years ago this week. And July 12th, Northern Exposure, one of my favorite shows of all time, debuted 34 years ago this week. So the final story of the week, Braves minor league pitcher Francisco Vicioso has pitched 3 innings. And during those 3 innings, he has given up 28 walks, 35 wild pitches, and 20 earned runs. That is considered to be one of the worst stat lines of all time. And I found that interesting. But then that was going to be my last story. And I already said it was my last story. Then I saw the sex bed one. And I figured, I'll just keep it that way. So that's it. So that's it for Dylan Knows on a Monday. It is presently 9:30 p.m., so I got about a half hour to relax and unload my stuff and go to bed and do the whole goddamn thing over again. As I said, this week, San Diego begins on Wednesday. The Olympics begin on Friday. My wife is going backpacking with her scout troop. My daughter is going to be up at camp until next Tuesday/Wednesday. So my son and I are going to be alone this weekend. So I should be able to do my show Saturday night or Sunday afternoon, depending on what my son and I decide to do or what we get into. I've got nothing else going on really this week. So it's the Mega Lucario raids, but those are in the afternoon, like 11 to 5, something like that. So I got plenty of time to do that, and we'll be doing that. But other than that, I got nothing really going on. I want to get into Fortnite because the Pirates of the Caribbean Battle Pass has started, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So that's all I got. So next week, hopefully, we will not be on a Monday. We will be either on a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon, depending on how the weekend goes. I will have the Deadpool Wolverine preview or not preview review, and I may even go see Twisters. So I might do that as well. I'll put a question mark next to that because the way it looks at it is, I was looking at the stuff. There's a 9 o'clock IMAX Deadpool versus Wolverine at AMC, which is right at the street up here, and that would be perfect for me because I'll eat some lunch and then I got to wait for my wife and son to leave, and they leave about 8:10. So I would be able to maybe go right on over and wait to get in and just go see the movie then. And then the earliest Twisters moves at 1:15. So this movie's only about 2 hours long. That puts it a little bit past 3:15, 3:30. Don't have to pick up my son till 4:30. So it gives me at least an hour window in between stuff. But as I said, it would also fall in between that. Deadpool will be over by about 11:30, and then I'd have to kill time until 1:15. So we'll see what happens. I might not see Twisters. It's just a thought. I am going to see Deadpool Wolverine, so I will have that review next week. For next week's episode, I will probably have San Diego news next week as well. So be aware for that. So that might actually maybe mean I should probably do Sunday for my show, because by then pretty much all the news will have been cycled through and I'll be able to reveal what we got. So we'll find out what's going on, and then we'll let you know. So going to be a busy week. Temperature wise, it's going to be hot for the first half of the week, and it's going to get really, really nice for the weekend. Holy shit, there's a bunch of rain coming. Holy fuck. Look at that rain coming. It says let's see if I can get it. It says my location. That dot right in the middle of my location. All this shit is rain. It's coming. Holy fuck. So yeah, within the next hour or so. So 86 tomorrow, 83 Wednesday, 82 Thursday, 82 Friday, 84 Saturday, 85 Sunday, 86 Monday, 87 Tuesday, 84 Wednesday. So rain Wednesday, rain Thursday. So we'll see what happens. But yep. So that's what's going on right now. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to depart in quiet. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you're in San Diego, be safe and have fun. If you're going to the Olympics, have fun. Do well, USA, blah, 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 all that bullshit. Kamala Harris 2024. Don't forget about that.